Namaste. I, JVN's Nitika Chatwal, Assistant Professor in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, is here to deliver the lecture on Pharmaceutical Quality Assurance, which is under BPharm 6th semester, and the topic is Quality Control, which comes under the unit 3rd. Now, we are discussing the glass containers and we are going to discuss in today's topic what are the tests that are performed to identify the type of glass. So, now let's start. This is the continuation of the previous lecture which we are done on quality control. So, let's start our today's topic. Now, evaluation parameters for crushed glass test. This is the first glass test, that is crushed glass test. This test is official in USP. The container is crushed and sieved to produce uniform particles of which a definite weight of taken. The control of the particle size and weight of powder ensures that a constant surface area is exposed to the solution because all of the glass, not just the surface layer, is examined and extraction is enhanced by the rough surfaces of the particles. This is a Siever test, and if a glass passes, it is unlikely that containers made from it will give trouble while is used. Nevertheless, the technique is tedious and is not applicable to surface treated containers, sulfur or silicon, because crushed would expose the alkaline glass below the surface. This test can be used for determination the nature of a glass or for distinguish between two types of glasses, such as neutral or surface treated glass. Now, the whole container test, in this test, the official test is which is official in European, British, and international pharmacopoeias. It is used in the USP for treated soda lime containers only. Now, this can be the next question for GPAT or any other pharmaceutical examination, that what is the use in the USP for treated soda lime containers? The containers are simply filled with the test solution and exposed to the test condition. Glasswares may pass the whole container test more easily because the surface layer of container is smooth and less reactive. In this test, surface area does not increase as much as volume with the increase in container size. Consequently, the small sized containers are more attacked by the leaching of the alkali from the surface. The container, if we take ampule that is of 1 ml, then the surface area which supplies alkali to each millimeter of the solution will be 5.9 centimeter per square. If we are using ampule as a container and which is of 10 ml, then surface area which supplies alkali to each millimeter of the solution will be 2.9 centimeter per square. If the container we are using is bottle and is of 1000 ml, then the surface area which supplies alkali to each millimeter of the solution will be 0.5 centimeter per square. Now, chemical resistance of test. In this chemical resistance test, USP and IP provide two tests to determine the chemical resistance of glass containers. In this, powdered glass test and water attack test is there. In powder glass test, it will be done for type 1 type 3 and type NP, which is also called as non-parenteral. Now, this can be also a question that comes in MCQs, that powder glass test is done for which containers, okay? And limits in ml of 0.02 n H2SO4 will be, for type 1 it will be 1, for type 3 it will be 8.5, and for type NP it will be 15. Now, for water attack test, type 2 containers that have the value 100 ml of less, and type 2 over 100 ml, in this limits ml of 0.02 n H2SO4, in this type 2 have 0.57 limit, and in this type 2 over 100 ml have 0.2 limit. In powdered glass test, from the glass container, alkaline constituents, oxides of sodium, potassium, calcium, aluminium, etc. are leached into purified water under conditions of elevated temperatures. When the glass is powdered, the leaching of alkali can be enhanced, and the powdered is critical. The principle involved in the powdered glass test in estimate the amount of alkali leached from the glass powder, the amount of acid that is necessary to neutralize the released alkali. A specified limit is specified in the pharmacopoeia. The basic analysis is acid-base titration using methyl red indicator. In water attack test, this test is used only with containers that have been exposed to sulfur dioxide fumes under controlled humidity conditions. Such a treatment neutralizes the surface alkali. Now the glass becomes chemically more resistant. The principle involved in the water attack test is to determine whether the alkali leached from the surface of a container is within the specified limits or not. Since the inner surface is under test, entire container has to be used. The amount of acid that is necessary to neutralize the released alkali from the surface is estimated. The leaching of alkali is accelerated using elevated temperature for a specified time. Methyl red indicator is used to determine the end point. The basic is acid-base titration. Now, the second is plastic containers. Plastic containers for pharmaceutical products are made from plastic based on the following polymers. The first one is polyethylene, that is low or high density. The second one is propylene, and the third one is polypropylene. The fourth one is polyvinyl chloride. The fifth one is polystyrene, and to a lesser extent, polyethylene tetraphthalate. The containers consist of one or more polymers together with certain additives if necessary. They should be manufactured from materials that do not include in their composition any substances that can be extracted by any contents in such quantities so as to alter the efficacy or stability of the product or to present a toxic hazard. Additives may consist of antioxidants, lubricants, plasticizers, and impact modifiers, but not anti-static agents and mold release agents. Drug plastic consideration in this first characteristics is permeation, the transmission of gases, vapors, or liquid through plastic packaging materials can have an adverse effect on shelf life of drugs. Permeation of water vapor and oxygen through the plastic wall into the drug can be present a problem if the dosage form is sensitive to hydrolysis and oxidation. Temperature and humidity are important factors influencing the permeability of oxygen and water through plastic. An increase in the temperature increases the permeability of gas. Now, the second important drug plastic consideration is leaching. Since most plastic containers have one or more ingredients added in small quantities to stabilize a specific to the plastic, the prospect of leaching or migration from the container to the product is present. Problems may arise with plastic when coloring agents in relatively small quantities are added to the formula. Release of a constituent from the plastic container to the drug product may lead to, drug contamination and necessitated removal of the product from the market. Now, the third category is sorption. It may be defined as bonding of a solute to a plastic. This process involves the removal of constituents from the drug product by the packaging material. Sorption may lead to substances of high potency are administered in small doses. Losses due to sorption may significantly affect therapeutic efficacy of the preparation. Now, the last one is chemical reactivity. Certain ingredients that are used in plastic formulation may react chemically with one or more components of a drug product. At times, ingredients in the formulation may react with the plastic. Even micro quantities of chemically incompatible substance can alter the appearance of the plastic or the drug product. Now, what are the tests which are done on plastic containers? These are leakage test, collapsibility test, clarity of aqueous extract, transparency test, and water vapor permeability test. About these tests, we will ensure to tell the details of these tests in our next lecture. If you have any queries regarding this lecture, please let me know, and please make sure to write down these important questions. Plus, make sure to write some short notes about this lecture. So thank you so much for listening to this topic. Now, thank you.